Kowakujo is the newest map in Black Ops 7 Zombies, and with it comes a lot of high expectations. After the heights reached with Totenreich, players didn't know what to expect with the release of this map. Was it going to match, or even surpass the likes of Ashes of the Damned in Totenreich, or was it going to be met with a more mixed reception? Well, Kowakujo is out now, and it's time we answer this question once and for all. Now, before we continue, I would like to give a brief disclaimer. We will be going over the story of the main quest, the boss fight, and the ending cutscene. So, if you do not wish to be spoiled, I wouldn't recommend watching this video yet. This is your chance to click off, so you can watch this video when you've experienced these aspects for yourself. With the disclaimer out of the way, let's see what this map is made of. This is Kowakujo in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Now, before we take a look at what the map does right and wrong, let's go over the map in its entirety, starting with where the map takes place. Kowakujo takes place in a Japanese castle inside the Dark Aether, as well as being next to an erupting volcano, and the map does not hide its destruction. The castle is completely decimated, from various buildings being destroyed to lava rivers forming beneath your feet. You see the map being completely torn to pieces, and it's the perfect area to slay zombies. Not only that, this is Takio's family castle, and as you'll see in the main quest, you will unravel his backstory and his personal demons. Now that we have covered where the map takes place, let's go over the map's layout and its progression. You will start at the bottom of the castle, and once you gather enough points, you will make your way to either the garden or the stables, where you'll notice something strange. Power is turned on, but your purchases in these areas are blocked, and once you progress either into the kitchen or the training area, you'll find a banner, which you'll have to reclaim. This serves as the map's power system, all the while you fight off against zombies. After you reclaim the banner, you'll find yourself in the courtyard, and after you reclaim both banners, you will be able to open the door at the top of the courtyard. After you fight off against some zombies, you'll be able to enter the castle itself, and after making your way up, you will reach the war room, where you will encounter the new special enemy, the Oni. After defeating him, you can pick up the Shogun's hand, where you will gain access to the Shogun's room. When you enter, you'll notice a seed in the middle of the room, which needs to be filled with zombie souls. After giving it enough souls, you'll have unlocked the Pack-a-Punch and complete the map's opening progression. With the map covered, let's go over the new enemies within the map, starting with the previously mentioned special enemy, the Oni. The Oni is an aggressive special enemy that uses electricity and agility to deal heavy damage. He has two main forms of attack, a range attack that he could send at you from a far distance, and a slam attack, where he charges at you and slams the ground, causing initial damage as well as dealing damage over time. On top of that, the Oni is extremely fast, being able to catch up to you in a matter of seconds, making this new special enemy a real threat that you need to take down as quickly as you can. Because if you focus on just the zombies for too long, he'll overwhelm you in a matter of seconds. The next new enemy introduced into Kowakujo is the Scorched Zombies. Now, unlike the Oni, these enemies only spawn during special rounds and the boss fight, so you won't be fighting them as often. They behave and do the same amount of damage as a normal zombie, but aside from what they look like, Scorched Zombies have one key difference. If you get too close to one, they will begin to burn you, slowly damaging you for as long as you're near them. Not only doing a good bit of damage to you, but delaying your health regeneration, giving the zombies time to take you down. So while not appearing as much as the Oni, they are no less of a threat. The last enemy introduced into Kowakujo is the return of the classic Hellhound. While not a new enemy, the classic Hellhound makes its return for the first time since Cold War. The Hellhound's forms of attack are its classic bite, and its ability on Fire Base Z, where once killed will leave a pool of fire that will deal damage to you or zombies, either becoming a hazard for you or a weapon you can use against the zombies. Now that we have covered the new enemies within Kowakujo, let's take a look at the new special round in the map. Starting around round 10, and every 5 rounds after, an assault wave will begin, where zombies and the dragon, Nixara, will attempt to retake your banners. You must defend the dragon statues from the assault for 1 to 2 minutes, and if successfully defended, you will be rewarded with the max ammo. If you fail, they will start to assault your banner, and if you fail that, all your purchases will be disabled in that area, until you reclaim the banner. But before the assault begins, you'll notice that the crafting benches around the map will begin to glow. This is because, to give you a chance to prepare for the assault, most of the crafting bench's items will be heavily discounted. Lethals and tacticals, excluding monkeys and Casimirs, will be 50% off, and all score streaks will be 30% off. Even if you don't use what you buy for the assault, you could still use this discount as a way to get equipment and score streaks for a cheap price, giving a unique dynamic for special rounds that we haven't seen in zombies before. Now that we have covered the map and its new enemies, let's go over the map's new equipment, the Maneki Nico. The Maneki Nico is the new tactical equipment exclusive to Kowakujo, and functions like no other equipment we have seen before. Instead of being drawn to it, zombies will avoid the Maneki Nico at all costs, giving some interesting uses for it. But if you stand next to it, zombies will start throwing themselves at you. But if you get an additional 3 parts, you'll be able to upgrade the Maneki Nico, giving it a protective bubble you could stand in safely and shoot zombies from inside it. Now as far as the base version, the main use for the Maneki Nico is the Easter egg and acquiring the new wonder weapon. Speaking of, let's go over the brand new wonder weapon in Kowakujo, the Necromancer. After completing a small quest that has you earning the trust of a cat, Nekomata, you will have acquired your new wonder weapon. The Necromancer is a cat that sits on your arm and fires plasma projectiles that deal good damage to the body and massive damage to the head, instantly killing a zombie on any round. The Necromancer also has a charged secondary attack that, once fired, sends out a plasma hairball that explodes on the ground and leaves behind a plasma pool, dealing massive damage to any zombie that goes into it. Not only that, you can also melee with the Necromancer, scratching any zombie that comes too close to you. And on top of all of that, you move faster while holding the cat, letting you evade any danger that comes your way. As well as the Necromancer, Kowakujo has another exclusive weapon, the classic PPSH-41. Carried over from Black Ops 6, the PPSH is only available in the mystery box on Kowakujo, and comes in ultra rarity, for those who are determined or lucky enough to get it. Now that we have covered the map's new weapons, let's go over the world events within the map. There are 2 world events that can happen within the map, the Fissures and the Hardened Lava. Let's start with the more significant of the 2, the Fissures. The Fissures have a chance to spawn anywhere on the map at the beginning of a round, and will cover the area with smoke, limiting your vision and damaging you slowly until you leave the area or go down. The second world event is the Hardened Lava. This only happens in 2 areas, the stables and the kitchen, where the pool of lava will harden temporarily, making the area safer to play in. Now before we cover the map's story and Easter egg, let's go over the side Easter eggs inside Kowakujo. Just like with Totenreich, Kowakujo's side Easter eggs offer completely unique rewards exclusive to the map. Let's go over a couple so you get an idea for what you can expect. There's the parkour side Easter egg that pays homage to the secret ray gun found in the World at War campaign, which also gives you a free ray gun. The origami horse side Easter egg that has you running an obstacle course for some rewards, and an origami horse companion that kills zombies with you for a few rounds. The previously mentioned Maneki Neko upgrade. And the Mecha Samurai, a unique score streak to Kowakujo that lets you call in a robot you control and can kill zombies with. I could list more, including a unique weapon you could earn after getting to the Easter egg boss, that we'll get into shortly. But in short, there are tons of unique side content for those who like completing small Easter eggs for unique rewards. With the map fully covered, let's jump into the map's story and Easter egg. Our heroes are here to reclaim the souls of Takeo and Carver, free the Shadowsmith Nixara from the Warden's control, and reclaim the World Seed to prevent the universe from collapsing. But before they can do any of that, they must unravel the curse that fell onto Takeo's family, before the castle entered the Dark Aether. When you approach the World Seed, an unknown entity makes their presence known. This entity is actually Takeo's sword, which embeds itself into the World Seed, corrupting it in the process. Your goal throughout the main quest is to rid the seed of this corruption, which is done by unraveling the truth of the curse. This curse started because the Shogun, Takeo's father, was murdered, and Takeo was found at the scene of the crime. Since Takeo's memories are still foggy without his soul, he doesn't even know if he's the murderer or not. After this revelation, you'll learn that the killer wore a fox mask to cover themselves and conspired with an accomplice for the murder. Then you'll find out that the murderer was manipulated by an Onryo, a wrathful spirit that died with an intense feeling of rage, jealousy, or vengeance. After finding out the Onryo's influence, you'll learn that the Shogun was actually poisoned, meaning that Takeo was wrongfully framed for the murder. Then you must find your final pieces of evidence to make your final deduction, figuring out how the murder took place exactly using all the evidence you have collected. If all of your pieces of evidence are correct, the curse will be broken and the World Seed will begin to purify. But the Onryo still lingers, which means you have to fight the spirit to purify the World Seed completely. After defeating the Onryo, the World Seed is completely purified. But Nyxara takes notice and eats the World Seed, stealing it from you and setting up the fight against the Shadowsmith. And as a nice reward, if you guess correctly on your first attempt, you'll be able to pick up Takio's sword, the Path of Sorrows, and use it for the rest of the game. After you are fully prepared for the boss fight, you will fly up to a nearby inactive volcano, where the fight against Nyxara will take place. The boss fight will begin once you pick up and reclaim the banner in the arena, destroying Nyxara's resting ground. Reclaiming these banners is the main gimmick of the fight, which is done by killing the Onis around the arena, picking up their banners, and reclaiming specific spots around the arena. After reclaiming all of the banners, you will be given an area where you are immune to all attacks, giving you a good opportunity to deal heavy damage to the boss. And you'll need to utilize these banners, because while you can damage the boss without them, her attacks are quite lethal. She will shoot consecutive fireballs at you that deal heavy damage, summons tornadoes that chase you and launch you into the air, and will scorch the entire arena, which you'll have to get behind rocks to not take damage, all the while zombies will continue to swarm you. After dealing a third of the boss's health, she will become immune and fly away. She will return, but in the meantime, you'll have to fight off hordes of zombies and Onis, all the while a meteor shower rains from the sky. Once she returns, she will no longer be immune, and you will have to raise 2 banners, giving Nyxara more chances to end you. While this is a chaotic fight, you are not alone in this battle. The freed Shadowsmiths will give you blessings during the fight, each giving their own unique benefit. Vaitherion's blessing will give you upgrades to your gear, like pack crystals, upgrade tools, perks, score streaks, and the wonder weapon, aiding you in the fight. Caltheris' blessing will give you a meteor buddy that will shoot fireballs when you fire your weapon, dealing extra damage to zombies, Onis, and even the boss. And Dravikar's blessing, which will instantly give you an immune circle, giving you the chance to deal some extra damage. Finally, after claiming many banners, evading her attacks, and with the help of the Shadowsmiths, you'll finally take down Nyxara, freeing her from the Warden's control and retrieving the World Seed. The outro cutscene has Takio and Carver's soul finally being restored. With all of our characters' souls being restored, and all of the Shadowsmiths being freed, means we can finally face the Warden, ending his control and restoring balance to the Dark Aether and the universe. And that's most of what you'll be experiencing in Kowakujo. A very ambitious map that tries a lot of different things to make it stand out like no other, but does it achieve these goals? Let's find out, starting off with what the map does right, the good. The first thing that's great about Kowakujo is the map's layout and progression. Kowakujo is a large map that plays extremely well because of how each area flows into one another after you unlock Pack-a-Punch. At the beginning of the game, you can feel how large the map is because none of the shortcuts and fast travels are unlocked. This goes for all zombie maps, but in the beginning, the size of the map doesn't really matter too much because opening up the map is its own progression. With each new area, if nothing else, is a step towards a bigger goal, like turning on power or unlocking Pack-a-Punch. It's when you completely open up a map where a good layout can really shine and a bad layout can really show. Because if a large map doesn't have any shortcuts or fast travels, it makes it tedious to traverse because it takes too long to get anywhere. And when you're trying to complete a Wonder Weapon quest or do the Easter egg, it can make a map extremely tedious to play. But Kowakujo really shines here because of how the map changes after you unlock Pack-a-Punch. There is a previously walled area between the courtyard and the staging area that is destroyed when you unlock Pack-a-Punch, letting you traverse between the two areas. If this wasn't a feature, you would have to go around a massive circle to reach the entrance from the courtyard, and vice versa. But because of this shortcut, you prevent the tedium that it would take to reach these two areas, making the map flow better as a result. And the same thing has been applied from getting to the entrance to Pack-a-Punch. Near both of these locations, there are fast travels that will take you to one another, at the cost of 500 points. This not only makes the map flow better, but it also encourages you to make a choice as to which way you want to take. Do you want to take the safer, faster option to pack, but cost 500 points? Or do you want to save your points and go to pack normally, but it will take longer and you'll risk going down if you're mid-round? But because of the previously mentioned shortcut, you aren't completely reliant on the fast travel. I can go on, but this just shows how much care was put into the map's layout to make traversing it as smooth as possible. As well as its layout, the map's progression is also really solid. Black Ops 7's maps have been mostly good in this regard, and Kowakujo is no different. From reclaiming the banners as a way to turn on power, opening up the door to the castle, and fighting the Oni to unlock Pack-a-Punch. Kowakujo keeps up with the tradition of good map progression in Black Ops 7, but is also something that we have never seen before, creating a great experience in the process. The next thing that is great about Kowakujo is the map's new wonder weapon. Not only is its design something completely unique that we haven't seen in zombies before, but it's also really powerful as well. Its primary attack can shred through zombies, and its charged attack can decimate hordes in seconds. And you can use both attacks at the same time, dealing massive amounts of damage to anything that comes near you, which is exactly how a wonder weapon should feel. And its design. I mean, it's a mystical cat that wants to kill zombies. What's not to love? I understand that this might not be everybody's cup of tea, but to me, Zombies is at its best when it embraces these crazy ideas, and the Necromancer does not disappoint. Next up on the list of positives is the map's unique content and side Easter eggs. There's the Assault Wave, a completely unique tower defense round that gives you discounts at the crafting bench. There's completely unique weapons, like the PPSH and Path of Sorrow, and completely unique equipment like the Mineki Nikko, its upgrade, and the Mecha Samurai. Kowakujo has a ton of unique content that not only helps the map stand out, but gives you reasons to keep coming back. The next positive for Kowakujo is the map's story and main quest. Kowakujo's Easter egg is where the map's story is told. As you gather more pieces of evidence, you are shown flashbacks to key events that all lead up to the Shogun's murder. This Easter egg also ties into Takio's story extremely well, because he is directly involved in not only expulging the curse, but unraveling the truth behind it as well. He also takes front stage in solving his father's murder, not only making this map's goal about freeing the Shadowsmith and retrieving the World Seed, but also for Takio personally figuring out how his father was murdered, how he was framed, and avenging him. In my opinion, Zombies Easter eggs are at its best when they are character-driven stories. And Kowakujo commits to this idea, and it makes the journey so much more impactful. Not only is the map's story great, but so is the Easter egg itself. This is one of the most complex Easter eggs in a long time, and this quest is a way to give more experienced players a challenge. While I have more to say about this Easter egg, and we'll get into that in a little bit, it's a nice shake-up from the usual, and gives players that like more difficult Easter eggs something to really enjoy. Another positive that is unique to Kowakujo is just how alive the map feels. For being in the Dark Aether, this map really feels like it's set on an active volcano. Between the lava streams, fissures, and the hardened lava, this map is constantly changing as your match progresses, not only making this map feel alive, but also shaking up gameplay as well. And the final positive for Kowakujo, last but certainly not least, is the tribute to Tom Kane. For those who don't know, Tom Kane, the original voice actor for Takio, has sadly passed away just a couple of months ago. And as a tribute, Brian Toohey, the audio director, and the team at Treyarch created a song called When the Stars Go Dark, and featured it in Kowakujo as a music Easter egg. To activate this song, simply find the initials TK underneath the tree in the courtyard, stand next to it and look up, and stare at the tree until the music plays. And after a little, a quote from Takio as Tom Kane will start to play. This is a fantastic way to pay respect to the voice actor that has been here since the beginning. Tom Kane might not be here anymore, but his legacy will live on forever through his work. Especially his voice as Takio Masaki. Rest in peace, Tom Kane. And that's all of the positives for Kowakujo. A very ambitious map that tries to shake up the gameplay in many ways and gets a lot of things right. But like with any map, it isn't without its own shortcomings. So, without further delay, let's get into the bad. And there's no better way to start off than with the map's most mixed reception, the Easter egg. Now, I really like this map's Easter egg, and I'm glad there's a quest for the more hardcore fans. But even I can't ignore the stark contrast from the rest of the game's Easter eggs. Compared to Ashes, Astra, Paradox, and Totenreich, Kowakujo's Easter egg is easily one of the most challenging and confusing. This is partly because there are so many different steps to this Easter egg. And with the exception of a few parts, most of the evidence can only be collected one after another, meaning you have to collect them in a set order. And not only that, you're given almost no direction between each step. And this results in times where you completely forget what the next step is. This is a difficult Easter egg to remember, and it's completely different to all of the Black Ops 7 Zombies Easter eggs so far. Not bad, like I said, but it will definitely throw a lot of people off that aren't used to these types of Easter eggs. And on the other side of the spectrum, another negative with the Kowakujo Easter egg is the boss fight. Now, unlike the Easter egg steps, the boss fight difficulty is definitely on the easier side. This lack of difficulty is because of the boss's health, or rather, its lack of health. If you have a good mid-range weapon, you can go through one of her phases in 2, possibly even 1 damage phase. And on top of the Shadowsmith's blessings, makes you feel rather strong during the boss fight. Now I have an idea of why this was done. Because of how difficult the Easter egg is, they probably wanted to tone back the difficulty of the boss fight. So that way you wouldn't have a ton of players complete this difficult quest, only to die at the boss fight and start all over. I see why they designed it this way, but I believe they made the fight a bit too easy. I think possibly doubling the boss's health would make this fight feel more rewarding, because with how it currently is, feels like it ends way too soon. The next negative with Kowakujo is the ending cutscene. Besides Takeo and Carver's soul being restored, nothing really happens in this cutscene. We're just being told what was already said in Totenreich, and being the penultimate cutscene to Black Ops 7 Zombies and potentially the Dark Aether story just leaves a lot to be desired. And the last negative with Kowakujo is the fissures. Now just like with the Easter egg, I do like the fissures in this map. They give the map a lot of atmosphere and shake up the gameplay as well. But I know a good amount of people that don't like them, and it's hard to disagree. Because in the end, all it does is prevent you from playing in a section of the map, which has historically been an issue anytime it's been introduced. But there's a decision even I don't like, and it's when they spawn in the castle. Because it's not just the bottom that gets affected, it's the entire castle. This means that Pack-a-Punch, the Wonder Fizz, and everything in the area are all extremely risky to use. Not only that, but a majority of the Easter egg takes place inside the castle, so you could just be locked out of doing certain steps because of the fissures. It's not something you'll see every game, but when it does happen, it can be an inconvenience to say the least. Now that we've wrapped up with the negatives, it's time to see if Kowakujo lives up to its expectations, and in short, it certainly does. I absolutely love this map, from the map's beautiful aesthetic and fluid gameplay, to the new weapons, content, and Easter eggs. There's just so much to like about this map, and while there are a few hiccups with the Easter egg, there's still so much that makes this map a great experience, and I highly recommend this map to anyone. This map really surprised me, because after a great map like Totenreich, a lot of people, myself included, weren't expecting a map as good as this. But Kowakujo released, and it completely shattered my expectations. Now, all that's left is a great final DLC map to make Black Ops 7 Zombies an overall great experience. And that's all from me today. If you enjoy what you've seen and want to see more of it, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel and your support means a lot to me. But as always, thank you all so much for watching and I hope you have a great day.